for a program which is geared to enrich you, mind, body, and soul, right here on 246 BajanVibesRadio.com, 12 till 3 on a Sundays AM, 7 till 10 p.m., 8 till 11 Eastern Standard Time. Don't you miss it. Feeling lethargic? Feeling lazy? Feeling tired? Can't sleep?
Welcome, welcome, welcome to Enrichment of Mind, Body, and Soul. How are you guys doing? Lydia, welcome, welcome.
My goodness. It is so good to see you.
And so good to see you as well. It's been a minute since we touched base.
Indeed. It certainly has.
Yeah, but you know what? You're always in our minds. You're always in our hearts, And it's so good to have you here this evening because we know that you have so much to offer as we're winding down 2025. And this is a good time for us to really do some self-reflection. Tommy, welcome to the studio. And it's a time for us to really recalibrate and see and focus exactly where we're heading. Are we centered and balanced at this moment? And we just want to pause for a few seconds. And Lydia, can you just lead us into a quiet meditation?
Absolutely. I would be happy to. So if you take a moment right now and breathe in deeply but slowly and notice the way the breath feels as it enters your nostrils. And if you haven't done so, you can allow the next breath to close your eyes. As you breathe in peace. Feel the peace right at the top of your head, right where the hairs grow, like a soft, golden, white light. And feel how it's cool, yet warm, soft and insistent, flowing down your forehead and the back of your neck, down your jaw and the front of your neck and your throat, everything opening and expanding with the golden light of peace. Feel the peace flow down your back, over your shoulders, and into your rib cage. Everything opening, softening, and expanding with the golden light of peace. Everything relaxing as it flows down over your elbows, your wrists, and every little finger, and reaches down into your abdomen where it swirls around, and everything is relaxing, and all the thoughts and things you don't need anymore come out and are pushed back into the cosmos, where you are getting the golden light of peace. You feel that light flow right back up and out and come right back down, cycling the cosmic energy of peace. You have the ability to be here any time, simply by feeling both of your feet on the ground and feeling your connection to the stratosphere, to the cosmos, to the heavens. Everything around you is there supporting you. Every time you take a breath and just notice that golden light at the top of your head. And as you take your next breath, allow the breath to open your eyes, feeling alert, refreshed, and full of peace.
Oh my goodness, that felt so good, Lydia. That felt so good. It take us into a place of peace, a place of calmness, a place of feeling centered, a place of feeling balanced, feeling grounded. And what a good way to start off this podcast this evening. You
I'm
know,
so glad.
that was really good. It was really, really good. And it's helping us to realize that we are returning to center this evening. We
Yes.
are going to that place of centered, being centered, being aware of your breath that you even breathe. What are you grateful for this evening? Write one thing down that you're grateful for this evening. One thing, just one thing that you're grateful for. And they just started off so beautiful that we can sit with ourselves this evening and we can journal something that we are grateful for. Because Lydia bring us into that place of centered and balance. And returning to the center is returning to the true essence of who you are. Returning to that true essence of who you are. And this evening is the calmness of oneness and inner authority. How is your inner authority? How are you dealing with a lot of challenges that you may be going through, or experiences in your life at this point in time? Are you self aware of your breath? Are you being aware of how you're feeling? Are you journaling your thoughts? How are you really feeling at this moment as we're about to wind down 2025? How are you really feeling? What are some of your body signals? Are you paying to how your body is feeling? Are you paying attention to what the body is trying to tell you? Because many times we're not paying attention to our bodies, and the signals that we're getting is trying to let us know that something is not balanced within our body. Are you taking the time to step out into nature and to be one with nature? Are you taking the time to pause and to reflect on the 10 months that you lived? What are some of the things that you can change moving forward into 2026? Are you really taking the time to sit in silence and to listen to that quiet intuition that is guiding us like a compass? How are we really living our lives? These are some questions that we really need to ask ourselves this evening, because as we are diving into returning to center and wholeness, these are some questions that we really need to ask ourselves this evening. And it's okay to sit in silence. It's okay to sit with yourself, because sitting with yourself, you get a lot of clarity and you get a lot of answers. And going into the center is aligning yourself, is the inner alignment. It's inner alignment. And with so many things that is going on around us at this point in time in our lives, we're now really finding that time to align ourselves. And what are we aligning ourselves to? And what are we using to align ourselves with? Are we listening to things that is not aligning us? Are we holding on to things that don't align with us? Like, for instance, like certain relationships that we are having in our lives that don't really serve us any longer. Are we letting go? Are we decluttering inward and outward as we move forward into 2026? So this evening, we want you to sit with that. And if you know someone who can benefit from this inner alignment this evening, can you share us out? We highly suggest that you share us out. And make sure you have a notepad and a pen as you sit with us this evening. Get into a comfortable position, because you're going to get some real good tools this evening, some good pointers that you can use. Or if you know someone who can use it, just share it out with them. This is a time of the year of sharing. We're heading into Thanksgiving. What are you grateful for? As I said before, what are you grateful for? Sometimes this is a time of the year that we wouldn't have certain family members around the table. What are some of the things that you're grateful for, their lives that they live? So, this is a time that we really should do some self reflection and introspection with our lives. But I'm not going to take up much time. So, I want Lydia to really serve us, and I know she's going to serve us well this evening. And we're so happy that we can have her here this evening to share with us and give us some tools as we wrap up 2025. I'm Lady K, holistic health and wellness coach, and the co author of two books with my sister, Lady J. She's not going to be on this evening because she got some prior engagement. But we just want to let you know that you can subscribe to Soul Light and Body. And we also have a digital magazine and a hard copy magazine, and you can also subscribe. Everything, all the links are in the footnotes, and you can check it out. And also, Ledger Links is in the footnotes. You can check it out as well. And I'm now going to hand you over to Ledger. Ledger, welcome to Enrichment of Mind, Body, and Soul. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. And to all of you listening and watching, the magazine, if you have not seen it, is beautiful. And it's also delicious because there are just all sorts of good foods in there, and
Thank
they're
you.
they're so beautiful. Like these are the pictures, and it's not like going online and getting a recipe. You don't have to scroll through everything in order to get to the food. You have to get
So true.
you get right to it, which is
Yes.
what it is. I think that we like about when we're happy is we're getting right to what it is that's important to us. And when we're calm, it's the same thing. We're getting right to what it is that is important to us. So the first thing that I want to ask you, now that you've thought a little bit about what you're grateful for, is what do you love? Really, what do you love? And you might know an obvious thing like I love my my wife or my husband or my sister or my dog or my child, my mother. What else do you love? Maybe you love purple flowers. Maybe you love your morning coffee. And if you suddenly didn't have that thing, or you were told that you wouldn't be able to have that thing, would you be able to bring up your vision of that thing that you love? The people you love, the flowers, the birds, the bicycle rides, the sea, the mountains, the thrill of concerts. What is it that you love? Now, keep that in mind, because whenever you have something that is not acceptable in your life, you can think about what it is that you love. And that thing will bring you to joy and to alignment, because your brain wants to get you to what you love, and it doesn't want you to be in the state of denying things, of saying this is unacceptable. You might be finding, like, even if you are the most calm person in the world, you might be being conflicted right now. If you think about all that's going on in the world, people, it comes home. It comes into our media. It comes into our workplaces. And suddenly we start feeling conflicted. That might not be acceptable to you. But you have the ability to align to the things that you love. And the more of us that do this, the more we're going to raise the vibration of the whole world. And just aligning to what you love can change someone else's day. And someone else's day can change someone else's life. It ripples out. So let's talk about this inner authority. When you go to meditate, does it work for you? Or do you say, oh, I can't meditate? Are you one of those kinds? If you can't meditate, here's what I think about meditation. Meditation is the intention to connect to the oneness and the wholeness and the divinity in yourself, and that which is part of the whole. And to do that, we become quiet. But we don't have to sit for a long time. You don't have to sit to meditate. You might meditate walking in the woods. You might meditate as soon as you get up and you may be laying down in your bed. But the biggest thing that I find is helpful to people, and Lady K actually mentioned this in passing, is getting quiet and getting between your thoughts. You don't have to get rid of your thoughts. You thank your thoughts. Be grateful for your thoughts. Be grateful for your ability to analyze things, and even be grateful for your ability to judge. And then let that stuff take a rest. Just let it take a rest. I like to let these things float up and back in my mind and rest there like they're on the branch of a tree, just overlooking. And if you hear a thought or you feel a thought, that's fine. You can let the thought be and just let it float by. And the more you tune in to your heart, the way you feel, and really ask yourself, how do I feel? How do my body parts feel, and what are they telling me when I ask? And then the thoughts are floating by with more and more space between them. And your connection to everything that your body is telling you, because you have a body for a reason. You are here on earth for a reason. And it's not to be miserable and tortured and too busy. And it's actually not to make money. And it's actually not to become famous or to do a certain job. Those are some stories that get told to us. And we believe stories, but remember, we are a people of stories. Stories are what we've been doing for so long around campfires, and we sing the stories and dance the stories and drum to the stories, and we tell stories. But stories can be changed. When you feel change around you, listen in. Listen in. Because that might be your window into something that you can't see until you open the window. Let's talk about this inner authority. What is it? Well, you'll know that you might not quite have it if you feel like, this isn't to say that every day is sunshine and roses and rainbows and unicorns, but do you have constant things coming into your energy that are just not feeling right, that make you feel buffeted and bashed and stressed? Maybe certain people come into your life that are not aligned to you, or you don't think they are. And you say, why do I keep attracting this kind of person? Or this kind of bad luck? Or this kind of energy? I don't actually like this energy. If that's the case, there could be two things that are happening. You might be actually too fluid in your energy, your aura. You might be very loose with that. Another thing could be that you're setting up barriers. That's something we're taught to do when things hurt, and that makes sense to a certain extent. But barriers, if you're thinking of them as rigid walls, then you're not letting the good in either. So are you not happy because you're not letting the good in? Or are you not calm because everything is all this buffeting energy, all bashing you from side to side with the bad news and the grumpy people? And when you feel outside of yourself, you can feel how far your energy goes. If you tune in, and it goes all the way around you. But do you know if you're standing in the middle of your energy? Are you standing right at the front of it? Or are you standing back? You might notice from people who talk to you. If you haven't noticed before, and you're standing right at the front of your aura, but people get in your face a lot, and it feels too close. Or maybe if you're standing at the back of your aura, maybe you're a little bit nervous around people, and nobody gets very close to you, and you wonder why you don't have people who are friendly and getting close to you. Just feel. Just when you tune in, just feel what that space is like for you. And one of my teachers, Jeffrey Allen, likes talking about a permission rose. And I say it can be anything. It can be I like turtles. It can be a turtle out there. It could be an ice cream cone. It could be whatever, but you see it in front of you. And when you see that in front of you, that's actually your energy. And anybody at all can have all the space around there, but your energy is what's inside. And you can see everything on the outside. But what doesn't align with your energy doesn't come in. And what does, can. So you can let in love, and you can let in kindness. You don't have to let in, even you can be concerned for someone without letting in their ill vibes. And that's having a flexible energy field. When you realize that they are struggling with their energetic space, they are having a hard day, being hurt, but we actually share the energy, but each of us has our own energy bubble. You realize that it's like your finger on your hand. I've been moving, and I hurt my finger yesterday. If I didn't take care of this finger, which was bleeding and it was a mess, the rest of my body wouldn't be doing well. At first, it's like, okay, you take care of that finger and it's fine. But if I didn't take care of the finger, the whole body would go down because I'd get infection and it wouldn't be good, right? This is just like we are with each other. If we don't take care of ourselves, it brings everybody down. But we don't have to take on the illness of others. So every time you have your permission rose in front of you and you talk to someone, you can tell them, or you don't have to tell them, you can just automatically have it give them a rose. When they're there, they get their own rose, you have your rose, and suddenly their space becomes calmer. Just think about this for a moment. It's what you think about, and that energy that's there becomes more present for you because you see it, and it becomes more, you become more creative in that space. Suddenly your energy is not a solid wall that nobody can get past, and suddenly it's not this thing that doesn't exist and lets everything in. You can control this just by seeing this. You can allow your consciousness to have a rest by allowing it, actually saying, thank you. You can take a rest now, and imagine it going back up in the back of your head. This is where you have a space in order to be, and in order to feel, and in order to just allow the rest of your mind, which, our mind isn't just our brain. You've got more cells that and nerves in your heart than you do in your brain. you and you That's because your heart is part of your mind. Your gut is part of your mind. When you feel butterflies, that's because there's a reason for it. There's something that scares you, and it might be something that you smell. It might be something that you feel. It might be an anticipation. Because these things talk to one another. And if our brains are back up there saying, oh, I'm scared of this, that, and the other thing, then we might feel butterflies all the time. If you suddenly feel butterflies where you don't expect to, or you feel something else, listen to that. That's all part of this beautiful body that you are in, that is bringing you all the goodness and of that life has to offer, and all the lessons too. Everything that happens is a lesson. If we don't learn that lesson, we might spend longer taking that lesson. It might feel more and more painful. But whatever it is, we learn it. If you tune in, you can learn it faster and just align to the peace that is. You have this unconditional support of the earth that you stand on. It is always there. When you feel your feet right through your hip bones, if you're sitting, through your sit bones and right up, that is the earth supporting you 24/7, unconditionally. And when you feel that above you and around you and through you, everything else is the cosmos, and it's all peace, you realize that when you open your eyes, you are the opening, and you are one with heaven on earth. That is the calmness that we can have even when we're stressed. When we can come into ourselves and enter that place, even if we have to do an emergency action, even if we have to fight or flee or whatever, if we're running around with our like our chicken with our heads cut off, we don't fare very well. If we're trying to concentrate and where our mind is on other things that are stressful, we don't fare very well. We try to sleep, and this is going and going and going and going. We don't fare very well. But when we can breathe and have that breath bring us to who we are and what we're aligned to, and that we are aligned to peace and support 24/7, as long as we open to it, we have the ability to be so much more in our purpose and find what it is we love. I'm going to ask you one more time. If you're writing, what do you think now? What do you love? What do you love? Oh.
Just listening to your voice, that is calming. That is so calming, just listening to your voice. It's bringing us to that place of feeling at peace and calmness with ourselves. You touch on some great pointers here, You talk about the body parts, how are we checking in and zooming into our body parts? How are we feeling at this present moment? Are you feeling heavy? Are you feeling a dense energy? Is this your energy or it's someone else's energy you're taking on? Because many times we are we are walking through life with someone else's energy. It's not ours to carry, and we are carrying that energy. So Lydia, you touched on a very valid point there just now, that we need to check into all our body parts and see how we are feeling at this present moment.
Yeah.
And if there is an energy, a sensation that you're feeling, and if it's not the energy that you really want to entertain within your temple, it's time that you start to cut that energy away from yourself. Write down how you're feeling. Write how you're feeling so you can process it, the energy that you're feeling in the different body parts. Write it out. Just put pen to paper. The pen is your tool and the paper is your canvas. Just write the way how you're feeling. So I really like when you touch on the body parts, and it's connecting your mind and your body, because that is connecting to the oneness. You're connecting to your true essence of who you are. And once you connect to that true essence, it's going to give you the answer that you're looking for. I like when you said also, we are here for a reason. Absolutely, yes, we are here for a reason. And many times we are so clogged up and so fogged up that we can't see the reason that and the purpose that we're here for. We're not here by accident. We are here for a reason. And each one of us, there is a path that we are carving for our lives. And once you go inward, you can able to understand, because when you go inward, it's self-awareness. It brings you to that wholeness, to that essence of who you are. But the only way you can understand that, you have to go within to understand. That's your inner authority,
Mm.
because you are aligning yourself now with your inner authority. And the inner authority is your compass that would lead you to the answers that you're looking for in your life, because it's a magnificent energy. Your authority is a magnificent energy that is within your body. We all came here with that energy, but we don't tap into that energy. It's a magnificent energy. That is where your resilience lies. And if we can only tap into that energy, we start to see some miracles start to happen in our lives.
Yes.
We start to see things start shifting, you know and just listening to you saying that you're in the process of moving, we may start off at a particular point in our lives, but then as we grow and we start to evolve, there is a lot of shifting start to happen. And sometimes we are shifting and we don't even realize that we are shifting. We are moving into a different space, and the shift is a shift from within our lives,
Mm.
because we are aligning ourselves now to a higher frequency. We have now aligned ourselves to a higher state of consciousness, and we start to see things differently. And the space that you're in right now, you've outgrown that space. So now you're shifting. into a next space that is aligned with you. And as we move through life, we're going to be moving through into different spaces as we move through life. And each space, we learn from that space. Each space, we gather tools from that space. And as we outgrow that space, the tools will help us in the next space, the next shift that we're going into, that space that we shift into, those tools that we gather in the space that we're right now, that's the reason why you're in that space. That's the reason why you're going through that challenge, that experience, because you need the tools there to move you forward into the next phase of your evolution.
Yes.
And another thing that I like what you said. You said we are here. We are a people of stories. Absolutely yes. And each story in our life, it's a different chapter that we go through in our life. Different chapters we are going through. Like I said, just does not it's different spaces we are moving through in life. And each chapter helps us with our evolution. Some chapters may not be that nice, and many times we ask ourselves, why do I have to go through this particular experience? But the soul knows the experience it needs to go through in order for that evolution. It knows why it needs to go through this particular experience in order to evolve. That is why we have to be grateful for the experiences in our lives. And until you understand the experience and come to that place of self awareness, that's the only time you would graduate to go across to another chapter in your life. Because if you forge it, you will meet it again. It's going to continue to follow you until you come to that place of self awareness. And next thing you touch on is constant things that make you feel stress. Many times, because we are repeating the cycle, we continue to feel stress because we continue to repeat a cycle all the time. That is why when you come to that place of self awareness, we understand exactly what's happening. That is why it's good to write. We understand what is happening. And when we understand what is happening, we are able now to shift ourselves into the next space and to the next phase of our lives. But the beautiful thing is that we have a choice, and the choice is ours. Many times we blame people for a lot of things in our lives, but we have a choice. It's our lives, and we have a choice. And if something is not working for you at this moment, you have a choice. The choice is yours. Sit with yourself, look at the situation, write how you're feeling, always make your notes how you're feeling, and gather the right tools to work with to move yourself into the next chapter of your life. Tommy Thompson?
Yeah, let me pop in here. Dr. Raz, who's been a frequent guest here, said, evening. We've got two questions backed up, so we probably need to get at them. He said, evening, family. How do you ensure the negative energy or people doesn't shift with you?
Great question.
Yeah. You and I and everyone on this call, you are the architect of your inner world.
Absolutely.
This is when you blame someone else, like Lady K was saying, when you blame is blinding. And suddenly we don't see that we are the architect of our inner world. We can care, we can cry, we can have pain, but we can go through that fire to the other side. And that is what we do as people, is to go through the fire and listen to the body parts, listen to yourself, listen to your feelings. And are they feelings because they're usually people who are against us in any way are feeling something that we feel. They're feeling like there might be a loss of something, a loss of security or a loss of love. And we feel those things too, and we may not feel about it the same as somebody else feels, but we feel these things. And when you realize that everybody has these feelings and we're just susceptible to different stories because we've received different stories, or we've received the same big story with a lot of cultural momentum, but we've felt it from our portion of the world, which has its own story, then you realize that what we feel we might lose might be a little bit different, but in the end, you can build a bridge to anybody. Whatever it is you feel. Like right now, today, my son moved, and he was really distraught. He's been trying to move for 3 days. It's taken a lot longer, but he was really distraught. Why? Because of fear of loss of love and loss of home. But if he stays in that as he goes to his next place, then that's no longer mourning, that's reacting to the idea of mourning. That's how you cannot get quite so hijacked, is to realize that, am I feeling this now, or am I no longer feeling it, but I'm reacting to the idea of myself feeling it, and now I'm feeling it still. Because that's a way that we can keep a story going and going and never get onto that next chapter, right?
So,
That I'm going to have to make another break. Dr. Raz has which his he calls himself RAS, and that means really a scientist. You know, when he gets called doctor. But anyway, says, "Hi, Lydia. Does the joyful path mean no pain or suffering?" And you kind of already answered that, but you might
yeah,
want to define that a little better if you.
Yeah, we come onto the earth and we are fully equipped with, we belong, first of all. We belong. But then we are fully equipped with the ability to do some special things. And we each have kind of a more of a mix. We have the ability to do all sorts of things. I was born with an abundance of forgiveness and compassion. Those come easy to me. Some people say, I don't know, I don't understand compassion, and I feel so silly, and I feel so broken. No, it's probably not the thing you were born with, and as you learn it, you don't quite know what to call it. And for me, I went through that with gratitude. For a while, I thought, I don't understand what everybody is doing with gratitude. They're all putting little pieces of paper in jars with little things that they're grateful for, and what is that going to do? But I realized that I had a great sense of awe, and that in my sense of awe was my gratitude, and that my gratitude came in great wells of feeling when somebody would help me when they didn't have to. It would be so that other people didn't necessarily understand me. My car broke down once coming into town. I had just bought it, and I found that the fuel gauge was off. So I was stuck in the middle of the intersection. And when I mentioned this later, people said, "What a terrible experience! How horrible! And you had just gotten this car." I said, "Oh, because the police officer was really, really nice to me and came over and tried to help me. And somebody else stopped alongside of me and was trying to help me diagnose this, and I had all this help, and they got a tow truck, and sure enough, we just towed to the gas station and got some gas, meaning that the gas gauge is faulty. So I got that information really pretty quickly. Nobody got hurt. Nobody was too grumpy. It was great. I felt so grateful for that particular thing. Not, what a drag. My car just, broke down. I just bought the thing. What a waste. No. And that was where my gratitude was. And I finally got it. It's what you notice. And if you don't notice anything, you probably won't be grateful for it. I wasn't noticing as much some things, but I was sure noticing those big things, and I was noticing the beautiful aspects of being witnessed and being served. These are lovely things. I'm also grateful for the birds, and I'm in awe of the birds. But I had to kind of learn what it was, because it wasn't the first thing that came into me. I wasn't maybe born with that. I was born with the capacity for that, where I was born with compassion, and I was born with forgiveness. Does that make sense?
Absolutely sense.
Yeah. Dr. Raz made a comment here. He said, another, blame is blinding.
Yes.
Yeah. Blame.
And
so true.
I don't know if he was talking about you or me. I mean, I know the movie, but I don't get the reference. He said, "Did you just Deadpool me?" That was super meta. So, I'm not sure what that means, but
go ahead, Tom. You had something to say, Tom.
I just wanted to get those questions out there. I would like to talk about my experience with Lydia, over time. I went to her Facebook page. I'd get announcements. I would watch some of she has a couple we'll probably play here in a few minutes of her videos she makes, and it's original sound. And one of them that really just hit me in the heart space was a fairly long one she did, going up to this open field through a farm track, very much like what we have here in rural Indiana, if you're out in the country. And she did what she did here with that hypnotic, calming voice. And she was playing the cello in the background. And I said, "Was that you?" And she said, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Yeah, I kind of figured." She uses her own music in the background. And I just want to talk about when I met her. So Karen and Joan brought Diana and I to New York and put us up in the New Yorker Hotel, which is very famous. Tesla had a room there. And anyway, so we get there late. We go to the trade show. And I first saw Lydia, and she and Joan and Karen were just in the middle of this aisle where all these people come in. It was right by the front. They would divide off and go one way or the other. They're standing in the middle of this with just this beautiful melting pot of New York humanity coming through there, fearless. And I just remember her in a pretty little sundress, this slim little figure, and there was Karen, and that was Joan. And what would happen is 2 or 3 people would be drawn to them, because if you're around Karen and Joan, or Lydia, you're kind of drawn to people like that. And Dr. T and I were in back, on one of the other aisles. And I'm going to take us off. Is this yeah?
1 second. 1 second.
Okay.
I think I want to get this. Yeah.
There's a picture of her standing in the aisle with people around her. Anyway, they would talk to people, or people would be attracted to them because it was so different from all everything else there. They were people selling different things. It's a white label thing, and you'd look, and the next thing you know, their arm would be around somebody, or they'd be holding somebody's hand, and the next thing you'd look up there, in 2 or 3 minutes, they're hugging them. And then that person would move on, or the 2 or 3 people would move on smiling. It was like a healing session, like what she did earlier, in real time, in real life at a trade show. And it just blew me away. Seriously. And, uh-oh. Yeah. Oh, Raz says it's a giving aura. Yeah. People were just attracted by the vibration. And Karen and Joan told me that they had meditated for days before this. And so after, it took a while. We tore down the booth. No one was there to pick it up. We had more stuff than we had vehicles for. So we had stuff on our laps and stuff. We were jammed in her vehicle, going over to New Jersey, to Karen's beautiful home. And we were outside talking. And I really hadn't talked hardly at all to Lydia, right? Well, she sat down by us, and it was just, wow. It was just a great experience. I really didn't want to leave, but my redhead was tired, and she'd been over peopled all day long. But she shared a little bit of her life story, and it was just amazing to me. And I just said, wow. And then she gave me her number and address, and I caught her on Facebook, and one of her groups, The Joyful Path. And lately she's gone onto the school platform, and she's sharing almost every day. She shares a video like what we can play here in just a little bit. And yeah, and I suggest or recommend, I hope there's a link down below, and that you can go and check this out. As soon as I saw she was doing something, I'm like, oh, hell yeah. I'm for that, And it's not that big yet, but the people I run into there she'll do like office hours. She has a group, I forget what she calls it, but we meet together, and on Zoom, and the people I've met are just extraordinary that have been attracted and are part of this. And yeah, that's my experience. And I hope I'll turn myself off so I don't make any disgusting old band noises. But yeah, I just hope. Oh, by the way, I said Lydia Lowery Busker, DMA. She doesn't like this being said, but I knew I was going to harass her. Isn't there somewhere about 3 girls with lamps, and one of them didn't like their lamp? Is something in the Bible there, Karen? I mean, you're much more of a scholar than me. That's what I've been trying to tell her. There's a thing about holding back on things, but there's also a thing when you work so hard to be who you are and the gifts you bring, to let people know who and what you are and how you arrived at the place you're at now. And by the way, she is being considered to be in the list for a Grammy with 2 pieces of music she wrote. And she would never say anything like that if I wasn't here. Yeah, the dead. Okay, here's Rastas. I've probably said more than enough already. I'll probably be in trouble after this with Lydia. Now, the Deadpool reference was to Lydia when you mentioned reacting to your thoughts of your feelings. I thought, I don't like how I'm feeling about that. What I think about what I'm feeling. Deadpool for sure. I love that series of shows. But yeah, thank you for reaching out to me. It was like we were just drawn together at that after party at Karen's beautiful place. And yeah, thank you for keeping me in your circle.
Oh, well, thank you for hopping into my circle. The circle he's talking about is I have a group on Facebook, but then I also, as he said, have gone to school, and there's a group there called the Joyful Path Jedi Calm, and it's a place for the weary, pained, and pissed, which is a lot of people lately, to come and receive a daily dose of calm. Because in calmness, everything starts with calmness. Everything. So when we can do that for ourselves, I mean, I provide that and I teach you how to. And people are in there doing this, and they're bouncing off of one another's energy. It's a really lovely platform. So that's what I've been doing that he's talking about, and I think that I think he mentioned that there's a link below for that, so you can come and check it out.
Dr. Raz asked me a question. Tom, what was the recurring feeling traveling back from each of the meetings you mentioned? Um, a lot of times she will, along with, there's like a daily meditation. I was talking about one she had done, I don't know, like a week or two back, and she says, well, I do those every day, so I don't, I don't remember, but besides that, besides whatever calm or in a lot of people, their lives are sometimes hectic or not the happiest thing. And invariably, everybody who listens to them, and sometimes they're 2 minutes long, they're 4 minutes long. It's not like you're committed to listen to a 30-hour session. And all the music, Dr. Rahez. Okay, sounds like Dr. Rahez. Okay. But yeah, I come away with it. And what she'll do is she'll ask you kind of a very probing question. And I'm like, I never thought of that. Oh, okay. How do I answer that? Very carefully. But, you know, kind of, I can't explain it. And it's just starting. She's just getting started with it. But the people I've already met through there, they're from around the world. And yeah, I'm grateful. And thank you for inviting me and letting me be part of it. And the recurrent feeling, traveling back, sometimes it's being perplexed because she asked me something I didn't have an answer for.
And that's okay.
And I apologize for my North Michigan accent, my Midwestern accent there, Dr. Az. And I'll get out of the way here, but I just wanted to share that, the time when I met her and the time since then.
Yeah, that's, well, thank you. And you're right, it is just starting. It's we've only been there, what, a couple of months now, maybe almost 3 months. And um, so the nice thing is it's very inexpensive. It just costs $5 a month to hop into the community, um, because we're just getting started, and so that's also an opportunity for people. One thing that I have also is I have a pay it forward program. So anybody who actually pays for these automatically is giving into somebody else who may need to be in there but doesn't feel like they can afford anything. Right now, we would in the United States, the government is in such a way that people who are depending on assistance to get their food aren't getting that assistance. And I think that I believe that is approximately 40 million people in that state. If you can't feed yourself, it's hard to be calm. But you may need this group. So I have the ability for people to apply and say that they, it's not just, do you want to be in here for free? Yes, very much. You have to actually apply and let me know that you're there. And when you apply, as long as there are spaces, I let people in because it's a pay it forward program. So, sounds like your core was changed from the encounter. I think that was you for you, Tommy.
Yeah. Tom, you want to answer that question?
I was writing an answer there actually. But yeah, it's kind of like there's all this gentle music and her hypnotic, calming voice and these beautiful scenes of rural scenery and stuff like we're in the ocean and all that. And then she'll ask you a question about, I can't even remember them, but she'll ask you a question and I'm going like, huh. And I've said several times, I don't think that way. I don't think about stuff like that. I'm 74 years old and live with a cornfield across the street from me. I mean, yeah. And so it kind of pokes at your core.
Mm,
Yeah, and one of the
nice.
things I love is, I mean, there are questions that are being, but it's non-political, and I guarantee you there are people from various different philosophies, but we don't feel the need to. We get blasted with that stuff through the news and social media all the time. We don't. Her the group and the people I've met, they don't spread that. We've got plenty of it
Not at all.
bombarding us every day.
Yeah, it doesn't even feel like we're avoiding it. It's
No,
just a natural bridge where everyone meets.
and I get it. I get it. And I am to a point in my life, I'm old. I have seen so much change in the world and our country. I mean, I was born in 1951, for God's sakes, and what I've seen and what the change I've seen. I remember a time in this country. I remember the Kennedy debate. It was like I was 9 years old, with Nixon, that kind of thing. And my dad is a lifelong Democrat, voted for Kennedy, and my mom, since he was a Catholic, voted for Nixon, the Republican. And yeah, um, I remember a time where how your neighbor voted was none of your effing business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That there was more civility, not to mention there wasn't all this bad stuff going on, particularly in the early 60s, and it broke up a lot of things. But along with that breaking, a lot of bad patterns and entrenched systems in our country, which desperately needed to be broken. Maybe that's what's happening now in a hard way. But yeah, it was a different time. There was more civility
Mm.
as I remember it.
Well, there wasn't social media also. And that's something that all those stories that we were talking about before, I mean, here we are, we're being exposed to many more stories than we used to. And that
Yeah.
and that's enough to make anybody stressed out. You get pushed from side to side and we hear other people blaming, and it tends to start to blind us because we'll start to say, maybe they're right. Gee, I am suffering from that thing. Maybe it is that other person's fault. You are the architect of your inner world, period. One of the most beautiful things that we have as humans is self responsibility. And people are afraid of that word, but oh my goodness, it's a beautiful thing. It's one of the best things about being human. We are responsible for everything. And that means that you can give yourself grace. You can give yourself compassion. You can give yourself forgiveness. And you can also ask for help. You can change what your intention is. You can intend to not do that anymore. You can learn, you can grow, and you can just be responsible for all those things. You are responsible for your inner world.
Wow.
So there.
You know, all those things you just said while Tom was speaking, I had those things right down here. I had the self compassion, the self forgiveness, because many times we tend to forget those for our own personal life, you know. And Tom, thank you for sharing what you shared. And, you know, as we move through life and we shift into different frequencies, we will meet different people.
Yeah.
And like for instance, what you just was sharing video about your car broke down at a particular spot. That
Mm,
happened for a reason. Because sometimes we just make an encounter with an individual or individuals. It's a very brief encounter. And then we go our separate ways. It's very brief. And then we go our separate ways. But
right.
as we walk our path, this will happen.
Mm,
Sometimes the car break down.
yeah.
Sometimes something may happen to you personally. You gotta probably go to the hospital or something like that. It's encounter to meet somebody there, you know. So these different things happen in our life for a particular reason. But as you rightfully said, Vijay, many of us don't see it that way. And it's good when you're self-aware and you can look at these experiences, like how you look at it, and you saw the joy in the car broke down, and you were telling yourself, oh, it's a good thing, but many people wouldn't see it that way.
No, no, it could have been much colder. It there were blessings of warm breezes on, in a cold place that we live, and yeah, it was great.
I was just going to break in, kind of in reference to Dr. Raz's question. Um, yeah, that's the kind of core probing shit that she says. You are responsible for your own inner life. You're responsible for how you feel, and stuff like that. Like, oh, no, I'm the victim. You know, and but she'll call you on it's uncomfortable shit sometimes, as she says, but later you can look at it and go, hmm. Because at least in my life, you know except through a 12-step program, I don't have a lot of that. And I think that each one of us needs someone to ask us the questions that we don't think of, or immediately make us
That's right.
uncomfortable, because there's something there that we're either not looking at, or we've pushed so far down that it's not part, it will. And I was just talking about this with a friend today, about a relationship he's in and the things that bother him. And it came out, I sponsored him in the 12-step program. And I asked him questions, and it's like these things will stay in our subconscious and impact us daily, even if we won't admit them or respond to them. And it was like you were talking about pushing yourself in the back of your or front.
Yeah.
We do the same thing to ourselves in our subconscious mind. And
Absolutely right.
and those things will trouble you and give you anxiety in certain situations. And if you're a typical Midwestern guy like me, like, I don't feel right, so I'm either going to get out of here, or screw this, I'm going to maybe get angry so that I don't have to feel that, you
Maybe
know?
drink, maybe smoke, maybe
Yeah.
do something else, maybe
Yeah.
watch Netflix,
Go,
say
go.
whatever.
Uh,
It's numbing the pain.
yeah. Go ahead and eat. I'm diabetic. Go ahead and eat a ton of sugar. That'll make things better.
Right.
How about a quart of ice cream? Yeah, that'll work. But
It's always good though, right? Until it doesn't feel good.
I've still got some up in the refrigerator I haven't killed, so I'm proud of that. That it's lasted more than a day. But yeah,
Yes.
hey, you got to take the small wins.
Oh, absolutely. We always say that you gotta honor those small wins. You have to. You have to.
You do have to, and
Yes. Yes.
also like it's hard. This is hard stuff to have something. If we can be curious, if someone asks a question and it causes us to be curious, because let's say you're a child and you grow up and nobody ever opens the shutters to the window. You don't know that there are, whatever, a different color of neighbor out there, or that there are trees, or that there are cows, or that there's a cornfield, or that there's the sea, and you never know. You later on might not question that. You might not think about those other people or those other environments. But then if you decide not to open the shutters, you never know, and you may not know that actually the person next door will be your best friend. The environment out there is actually good for you or not good for you, and you need to walk away from that, but you've got to open the shutters and look out the window. And if you've never been taught to do that, that's not the easiest thing to do, right? So having questions sometimes that just help you to be curious about, I think we're going to open the shutters and look out and see what I feel about that. It's helpful.
That's so true. The beautiful thing is that our inner authority is a sacred power.
Hmm.
That's our sacred power. And as you rightfully said just now, Lydia, is that we can open windows and see the possibilities. But many times we are so rigid because of conditioning
Hmm.
and because of maybe trauma, fear. So it's so many things hold us back. And we are so afraid to open that window to see
Yes.
exactly what's going on. But if
Yeah.
we can only trust our inner authority and open that window, just get a glimpse of what's happening, we will
Yeah.
start to see exactly what's going on. And it's time that we tap into that sacred energy that we all have within our lives.
We were born with it. Yes.
Absolutely, we were born with that sacred energy.
Hmm.
But again, because of conditioning, we forget ourselves. We forget ourselves. We forget who we are
What we
because of
believe is our reality, right? So
absolutely,
we have some story we believe, then we might forget ourselves.
absolutely, absolutely. Because again, the conditioning, the things that you listen to,
Hmm.
each day that we live, what are we aligning ourselves to? And what are we aligning ourselves with? Because whatever you align yourselves to or with, you're only reinforcing that system that you're running on. So if
Yeah.
you're aligning yourself with people who are even doubting you of who
Mm.
you are, you eventually not going to even doubt yourself.
Yeah.
because you are running on that program. You are not running on your program. You're running on someone else's program because they condition you to believe that you're not worthy enough, that you're not special. That's conditioning. But that is why we have to ask ourselves, am I carrying my energy or I am carrying someone else's energy?
And there's one of those questions, right? Right, Tom? That is it can be uncomfortable. And how do we get to that if we don't have something to open that up for us? But the first way is to just be curious.
Yes.
Don't be afraid of just knowing what's on the other side of the window. You
Yes.
don't have to choose it. You have
Yeah.
that ability to choose, but just get curious. As what I'm thinking is my are my assumptions actually real? Are they logical? They seem logical to me, but are they? If I step outside and look at myself, just get curious. Get curious about anything. Get curious about ideas. You don't have to like them, but get curious.
Dr. Rass right there says all sensory roads lead to the brain. If I don't remember everything, but he's with a group that are doing studies on that, particularly for children,
Yes.
doing some amazing work. You know, the work he does with
Mm-hmm.
things that I don't completely understand. I might want to post that show one of these days
Yeah.
because he and some of the other people on with him were just, you know, top people in their field about
Yes.
it's something that with like how our brains and how our bodies react
Mm-hmm.
with all that. And they've got a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful program for children.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't
Mm-hmm.
remember it all.
Lydia, my question to you is, how can one reclaim their inner authority? What are some of the steps, or what are some of the morning rituals that an individual can do to really reclaim that inner authority?
Yeah. If you really want to have that inner authority, one thing, and I actually shared this in my group today, is to take a deep breath. And you can read this, you can hear someone else say it, but just say to yourself in that moment, I am the architect of my inner world. And then as you say that, start to think about it. If you don't understand it, or if it doesn't seem real to you, question that. But think about, what is your inner world? Your inner world is everything you're feeling. Everything you feel is real. Everything you feel is truth. Everything you feel is accosting you. Everything you love. These are all part of your inner world. And but what's there when you're born is just, I want to connect meaningfully. I want to be out there doing those things, tasting those delicious things, feeling those beautiful things. I want to be held. I want love. But we don't have anything but that desire to connect. Later, we start to not do that. We react. If you think about babies, sometimes we think of them as crying, right? But babies cry and then they stop crying really pretty quickly. They get up and they try to walk. They fall down and they go, wah, and then they're done. They get back up and they try again. You're not like us saying, oh, I can't do that. I fell down. That's not my thing.
This sucks. I don't like how I feel, or this social interaction sucks. So I'm getting the hell out of here.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
mean, it's partway in between, right? I mean, it might be that isn't aligned to you, but what's your part in it? What is your part in it, and how are you? Because that other social interaction, They might be the finger.
Uh,
You might be the elbow. You might
Dr.
be the
Raz
heart.
has a couple comments here, and the first one was, can I be curious about two things? Wait, forget it. A lot of us won't are lucky to have one, and I get what he's saying. Inner authority, that's a strong concept. Yeah. And
It
here,
is.
look at this. And this is what he does. This is part of what he does. I don't remember everything. I wish I did
Mm,
of the type of research, but they're not just researching, they're actually bringing it into sessions with children in schools and things. You know what I mean? And he said,
yeah.
interestingly, endocrinology measures stress and euphoria, backs up Lydia's statement for sure. Lydia's statement for sure.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
ought to know that's part of this field of
Well,
expertise.
that's when you just actually get curious, you start to see that we're not science and universal truth. These things that we feel and the things that are measured, because what is science? It's humans coming along and saying, I want to know that and I need to name it in order to remember it. I need to document it in order to see how it is happening, when what is happening, and see if I can replicate it or if I can notice it in nature. It's all the same thing. We're just walking each other home. We're just here connecting meaningfully. And how we feel about that and what we do, how we react, helps with the smoothness of that experience, even if you've had a lot of things. A lot of things. Because those a lot of things, if you sit in them and say, I've had all this stuff happen to me. And I am just, like, I really need to have this, that, and the other thing. I need you to be nice to me. Don't trigger me because I I am feeling it because I've had all these things. Yes, and that's hard for you. That is hard for you. But if you actually say, I had this happen to me and now look where I am. I had this happen to me, and what do you love? And you are here loving that thing. How did you get there? Can you get there more directly by actually focusing on it instead of focusing on the past and your past pain? It's a path and it's a choice.
Yes. Yes.
And Dr. Raz says, we are what we experience.
Yeah.
And the thing that came to
And what we
me as
believe.
he said that is, what we experience is sometimes I go through the world with blinders on.
Yeah.
You know, I don't see any truth to the left or the right. Uh-oh, I better not look at that. And I will
Blinders
focus,
or rose colored glasses or a microscope or a telescope or
or
a
uh,
20,000 foot vision.
or a shit magnet where we focus on the shit and don't see any okay stuff that surrounds it.
Yeah.
And I've seen so many people like that, and I used to be such a thoroughly negative person, and I
Hmm.
still can be. But yeah, it's like looking at life through a shit kaleidoscope backwards. you know and I know a
Yeah.
lot of people like that,
Mm-hmm.
and we live in
Mm-hmm.
a small community. And if you go to the drugstore or go to the grocery store, and we've got a nice store here. I live in a small community where my wife's family has been since 1869 or something. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Shit is a great fertilizer. I've had my brain packed with it for quite some years. But yeah, you walk through and you smile at people. I remember how wonderful an experience I went with Karen's husband out walking around New York through Hell's Kitchen, for God's sakes. It obviously has changed a lot from the olden days. And we're walking down along the waterfront and through, and every person I meet that met my eyes, I don't care who they were, and he and I are both smiling. I call her husband Mr. Twinkle. Inside joke there, but yeah. So, and I'm walking with her husband, Danny, and it was just like everybody we met that made eye contact was like happy and recognized us as people, and we recognized them. And I just felt so great. And then I came back to the Midwest, and wow, I had just come from New York, and it was a beautiful experience from the moment we got to the airport to flew in there and back and out and where we came back to. And it was absolutely, I don't know, for me, it was just like I was in an envelope of like love and happiness from the time we left till the time we got back. And I went to Sam's Club the day after we got back, right? And I got used to looking at people like, hi, I'm alive, so are you. That's great. And I come back here and it's like, what are you looking at me for? What are you trying to do? Who are you? You can't look at me. That's what I got, kind of. And people that are angry and just stare at the ground or, pushing their carts around in there. And just very rarely. And then the local store, you meet sometimes the most beautiful people that are in their 80s. And the women and men, they just have this inner happiness. And they'll look at you and, oh, hello, that kind of thing. And yeah, when I moved back to the Midwest from Washington State, I moved back to Missouri. To me, emotionally and spiritually and mentally, it felt like I had climbed under a wet, moldy blanket. Coming back here, where I grew up, more or less, or in the general area. And it was kind of painful, actually, and that was many years ago. And I had the same experience when I came back. I talked about that with Karen, and I may even write an article for their magazine on it if she would like me to.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
It was, and I tell you what, I thought about it on the drive home, and I didn't have Diana with me. And I wept a little bit because I had come back to a totally different reality, and there are just tons of people everywhere there. I remember we went through, what was that, Costco? My God, don't try to follow Karen through Costco. Karen Pascal through Costco, you will lose your mind.
Tom, you're funny.
I speak truly. Lydia was with us. She knows what I'm talking about. And Dr. Ross says that's how I feel when I'm not on campus learning new things.
Yeah.
So I think I talked enough there, but
yeah.
I just wanted to underline some of the things she said.
Yes. Lydia really bring up some great points just now. But how important is mindset, Lydia?
It depends on if you, I think when we concentrate on mindset, we're really talking very much about brain set and reaction set. If we come into our heart, if we come in to our gut feeling, we start to have more of a balanced mindset, not this is happening to me or this is happening for me. but this is. Just this is. And I love it. Or this is, and it's uncomfortable. Or this is, and I want to change it. So we come across this when we have all this stuff that we need to do and we can't, or we have all of, whether this is because of our job or money or the people around us. And when we look at this instead, and we tune into our heart, and we tune into our body, we tune into our gut. For goodness sake, every time I think about this, I have a pain in my arm, or I have a pain in my foot, or my stomach hurts, or whatever it is. Listen to those things. Look at those things. You will realize what your thought is about all of the mindset, the mindset itself. Oh my goodness, I might lose my signal pretty soon. Just because I have an internet issue here, because as my son was moving out, he managed to, wasn't him so much, it's just what happened, but the wire coming out of the wall came apart. And he's very good with these things. He's an engineer, but he thought he put the wire back in there, and it needs to be fixed by somebody who actually is in that business. And so I am going on a hotspot off of my phone, and I just got a message saying, do you want to disconnect from your phone because it's rather low on battery? And I don't know why it isn't. It is because it's plugged in, but maybe it's just not plugged in the right way. I don't know. Anyway,
she just Dr. Raz had to bail, had to leave.
Yeah.
He said, gotta run, great show as always, never a boring conversation. See you all Wednesday 8 to 9 p.m. with Lady J and Lady K.
Mm-hmm.
But if we do a replay, I want to replay Lydia, because I didn't even remember her. We had so many guests, I didn't remember.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say was, she made a point, and I will go ahead and play Cycling Cosmic, whatever that was. She asked, let's play a couple of her the type of videos that she creates. And like she said, I don't remember. I make them every day.
Take a deep breath in. And as we do, if we're sitting, rock on our sit bones and feel our connection to the earth between our sit bones and our feet on the floor. Notice the air come up into your nostrils and the temperature of the air, and the way it feels, and how it feels as it exits your nostrils. As you breathe in, let the breath close your eyes if you're safe to do so, and allow the breath to return to its natural pace. As you notice your consciousness behind your eyes, allow it to float up and to the back of your head, as if perched on the branch of a tree. Thank it for its vigilance and allow it to take a break. As you breathe in peace. Feel the peace as a gentle glow, golden, soft, yet warm, and cool at the same time. Feel it flow down from the crown of your head down the back of your neck and over your forehead, your cheekbones and your ears, your nose, your tongue and your jaw, your throat and your shoulders, everything relaxing with the golden light of peace. And it flows down, down, over and through your heart and lungs, opening, softening and expanding your rib cage, down your arms, over your elbows, your wrists and your fingers, and down into your abdomen. Everything softening and relaxing with the golden light of peace. And feel this energy swirl around gently, deliciously in your abdomen, and then come right back up the front, passing over your solar plexus, your lungs and your heart, your throat, right up your forehead and your temples, and right back out the crown of your head. And as you breathe, the energy comes from the universe, from the cosmos, all around you, and down, through, and back up, while all of your thoughts simply float by. This is happening for you. You are now open to the energy from the cosmos, and you are cycling this energy. Every time you notice your breath, you will remember that you're cycling energy. Anything you don't need will go away and be recycled in the cosmos, and you will be filled with unconditional love and peace. As you take your next breath, you can open your eyes in 3, 2, 1. Eyes open, alert, refreshed, and full of peace, cycling energy, and grateful for your day. Namaste.
Oh my goodness,
That's
that's
a pretty good.
powerful.
Okay, that's a representative, and like there's all these on her Facebook. Don't you have a YouTube as well?
Yes,
Okay. In fact, you can. I sent you the link. You can link to your YouTube, the how to get to this video, and I'll go ahead and paste it to in school, hopefully.
yes.
And so, yeah, gosh, but
Tell
that's
us
the type
about
of thing.
school.
Yeah, let's get back to what you're doing there.
Tell us about school, Lydia.
Yeah. When you come into a community in school, you have a in this community that I have, you have it's a gentle community. It's not, people aren't there to learn or judge anything intentionally. They're there to calm down because, as I said before, they're weary, pained, and pissed, right? Or one of the three. And you can imagine you might have children and you have a job, and you come home and it's hard to relax, and you actually have pain and you don't have time to take care of it,
Sure.
and you're taking care of your mother, and you're taking care of, you might be weary, you might be pained, you might be pissed at your boss, you might be pissed at your sister, you might be pissed at the world. You, whoever you are, there are things that come in and they bring you stress. If you're there, when you come into this community, it's gentle. Nobody is judging you for a single thing that has happened to you in your day or that you have instigated in your day, and nobody is doing anything but calming down, just calming down. And then they start to go into, either they do or they don't go into answering questions. And that's where it's a very responsive community. It's very beautiful. It, some people lurk. They just watch the videos. They don't say anything. But the people who do say things will share their own story. They'll encourage you for yours. They'll answer something in response to yours, but it's all in this energy of aligned oneness and calm. And sometimes just plain gratitude.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful community, and it's you can pay a lot for a service to get all sorts of meditations that you like, or maybe just ones that somebody else says is good. I feel like anything that works for you is where you should go, because if you like my voice and you like the way that I do things, then this is for you. The the pitch of my voice is not anything that I actually created. What I do with my voice when I'm in these, and the hypnotic suggestion that I do, helps you to align. But if you like somebody else's voice, do that. If you like to do it on your own, do that. But if you like my voice enough and you like to be surrounded by other people who are trying to get to the path of peace, they aren't at the end point, they're on the path, they're getting there, then this is a community for you.
Wow. Thank you for explaining that, Lydia. And the beautiful thing is that when we can have communities and where we can go and we could be enlightened and
Mm,
we can feel that true essence from within ourselves, that is so blessed.
yes,
It's so blessed.
yes,
It's
absolutely.
really, really blessed, because we all go through things each and every day, as you said, Lydia, and we are stressed out, we're feeling depressed, anxiety, because sometimes you find what's on in the world, we consume that energy
Mm-hmm.
and it makes us feel so depressed. But when you have a safe space that you can enter and decompress yourself, and you can feel that energy just shifting, for instance, like through one of these meditation videos that you have here, it puts you in a state of peace, of calmness, focusing inward to your breath, scanning your body to see where you're holding this energy, and it's helping you to release that energy that is from within yourself, the energy that it's not your energy and you're carrying with you. In a space like this, it helps you to understand that you can release that energy.
Yes.
So just go in the comments and you're going to find the link to Lydia's school, and it's going to help you to understand more about yourself, because when you hear the word in authority, it's your power, it's your sacred power that you have within yourself. And again, it's your choice.
Mm-hmm.
It's your choice, because only you can do it. It's only you can do it. And we need to show ourselves that self compassion, that self love, and we need to take care of ourselves, that self care. We really need to focus on that as we're wrapping up 2025, and as we're going to be wrapping up this podcast. As you leave this week, just look at your life. Sit in stillness, in quietness, and
Mm.
just do a revision about your life, and scan all the areas of your life. All the areas of your life, just scan it and look at it and see if there is anything that needs to declutter from all areas of your life. Sometimes you find that friendships, you're holding on to friendships that you outgrown. Many times when we are evolving, friends are not evolving with us,
Mm.
because we are evolving into a different space. And friendships, some of them may have to go, and it's okay to let friendships go, because you are elevating, you're evolving, your energy is shifting, and where you're preparing to go, those energies cannot go with you. And it's okay to release those energies, and release those energies with love, not with hate. Release it with love and allow those energies to go.
Mm.
And it's about allowing yourself to be, allowing yourself, because you're becoming. Allow yourself, allow yourself to go into that flow state. Many times we are holding ourselves back from that flow state. We are evolving energies, and we need to allow ourselves to flow, go into that flow state, go and sit in silence, just allow, go inward. As you move through this new week, go inward. Get your pen, get your journal, whatever you chose to write on. Just write, write the way you feel, how you're feeling.
Mm.
Scan your body and just write, you know, because when we do that, a lot of clarity comes up, a lot of clarity.
Mm.
And just write, don't hold back, because remember, it's you, the pen, and the paper. Just write. Be
Yeah.
honest with yourself. Just write. And when you write, sometimes tears may start to flow. Allow that to flow as well, because that's a part of your healing process. Don't hold back. Do not hold back. Just allow yourself to be. Allow yourself to be. This, you remember yourself that you are sacred. You're very sacred. And when you allow and honor yourself, that is what your soul needs, because you are allowing yourself. So this week, we highly encourage you to sit with yourself and see where you're heading. And if there's changes that needs to make, just make it.
I
You
was
are,
going.
go ahead, Tommy, go ahead.
I was just going to say, she wondered if we would play the other video, and I think this would be a good point to
Yes,
have it.
we're gonna play it as we go out. We're gonna play this
Okay.
first, and then we're
All right.
gonna play the other. Yes, we're gonna play it, Tom. Yes.
Okay.
And Lydia, we just want to thank you so much for taking the time. And you are such a special soul that is walking this path because you give of yourself freely and you give it with love. And because you give it with love, you embrace humanity and help humanity to understand that we are special souls that is walking this journey.
That's right.
And thank you so much for doing that, Lydia, because many souls out here needs to hear your message. They need to come into a space where they can feel calm, where they could be their voice could be heard. And you really created that space for souls to come. It's like you're gathering these souls together, you're bringing them together as a collective and helping them to know and to tune into the true essence of themselves.
Yeah.
And congratulations on all the great things and that you're doing to help humanity. We really appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having this show. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for being my friend. Thank you.
We love you. We just love you. We just love you. Yes, we just love you. And it was an honor to meet you in New York City. You know, when we had the show at the exhibition at Javits Center, and you said to Joan and I, you said, I'll be there. I'll take the train and I'll be there, you know? And it was just such a joy to hear when you said that I'll take the train and I'll be there. And that was the first time we met you in New York City.
Yeah.
And it felt so good because we resonate with each other. And the beautiful thing is when you're on the same frequency, it feels so good. When you're on the same frequency, as people would say, we vibing,
That's right.
you know? Yes. It,
Yeah.
is- it, it was a true honor. It was a true honor. And Tommy, it was a true honor to have you in New York City as well. It was an honor. And we are walking this journey together for a reason and for a purpose, and it's to help humanity. We are helping humanity. Every day we show up, we are helping humanity in ways that we cannot even imagine. We are helping humanity. And it feels good. It feels so good. It's a joy. It feels good to do it. I could just imagine you making these videos. It's a joy for you to do it.
I do love to do it. Yes.
Yeah, you can hear it. It's a joy. You can feel that sacred energy. The time that you allot to make these videos, you can feel that sacred energy coming from those videos. And because it's pure, it will touch and resonate with the souls who needs it. It will. Believe you me, it will resonate with the souls who need it. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for taking the time to do that to help humanity. Because everything we do in life meaningful and is coming from our true essence, we are helping humanity.
I just
Yeah. Go ahead, Tom.
I just wanted to break in for a minute, and I'm sure Lydia will back me up on this. When you meet Karen and Joan in person, uh, they're so much more beautiful than they are, and what a lot of that is the spirit with them. I can't, it's just it was a core. He's talking about something touching and changing your core. That was meeting everyone who was there, you know, and it
Yeah.
was, yeah, and
Thank you, Tom.
it left an impact on me. And if you do get a chance, You need to jump on that train again, Lydia, is all I'm saying.
It's
Once you're done moving the mass, hey, it's shorter.
Yes.
yeah, it is.
Oh,
It's true. Although there is a train station right here in the capital of Vermont that goes
yeah.
straight there. So it was perfect. And yes, when you're in a place with that kind of energy, you feel it. It's a container. And you walk into that container, and it feels different than outside of that container.
Yes.
Hmm. Yeah. And like I was saying before, I just have a vision of you standing out in that aisle with people coming around you, right there in one of the main entrances,
Mm,
and how they would be attracted to you or to the ladies, and they came away healed. Something had changed for them with that interaction. It
Yeah.
was, and it happened again and again and again while I was watching it. And
Yeah.
yeah,
I remember one lady. I remember I had a very short, brief conversation with her, and she said to me that she had a very strange relationship with her sister. And I said to her, I held her hand and I said to her, I said, you have to believe that this relationship with your sister is going to change. And I said, as you walk away from this present moment and all the moments that you're going to live going home, I said, just picture yourself. And I said, focus that you will get a call from your sister. And when she reached home, couple hours after, her sister called her. And the two of them, years, there was no communication between the two of them. She came back the next day to thank me because what I said to her empower her and put her into that mindset. So when she left and went home, she remained with that mindset and visualizing that her sister's gonna call her. And that happened in couple hours after. That is how important is mindset, because whatever you imagine, that is exactly what you're pulling towards yourself.
mm,
And we move through life and we don't even realize that. Every thought, that is what we are attracting because it's an energy and you're pulling that towards yourself. So today, this moment, look at your life again and see exactly what you're pulling to yourself because it's the energy you're pulling towards yourself.
mm-hmm.
So we just want to thank you once again. We want to thank Dr. Ross and everyone on LinkedIn that showed up this evening on IG, on YouTube, on Facebook, and Instagram and Twitter. We just want to thank you so much for taking the time and coming into this space. And we hope that you left with one good thing to start off your week this week. At least Lydia really walked us through with her meditation, and it brings us down to that space of calmness
Mm-hmm.
that we can able to nourish our minds and nourish our inner authority and help us to move forward. We focus so that when we move through life, we can understand that we have the authority over our lives. And don't forget to subscribe to Soul Light and Body, that you will never miss none of these episodes. And to get in contact with Lydia, all her links is in the notes below, and you can get in contact with her, have a conversation with her, subscribe to her school channel that you can be a part of her community where you can go and you can sit and you can learn so much from her. Also, 246 Bayesian Vibes family, we have a classified ads. You can go, you can check it out and be a part of that as well. And I just want to shout out to DJ AC, because we're so grateful for him that every week he able to connect us on to 246 Bajan Vibes Family Radio, audio and video, and also IC, because when we started Enrichment of Mind, Body, and Soul, she was part of the conversation. And we just want to thank her so much because we have grown over the years. And we just want to extend gratitude towards her IC from 246 Bajan Vibes family. Thank you so much. And Sugar D, thank you so much for giving us this space that we could bring messages every week to help with the healing of humanity. Lydia, thank you once again. Tom, thank you once again for being here.
You are everything. You are love. You are energy. You are resilient. You are everything. You have been broken. You have gotten so much bigger, stronger, wiser, softer. You are everything. Your heart can expand to engulf the whole world. Your soul keeps you safe. Whatever you do, you have the power. You have the wisdom. You have the ability to carry through and transcend to something greater. So as you take in a deep breath and feel the energy wash over you from the crown of your head to the tips of your feet, and feel the energy flow up from the tips of your feet to the crown of your head, you know that you are supported and you are love.